Well, we're having something of a blizzard outside. It's 12 degrees Fahrenheit, which is minus 11 Celsius, and they're predicting between 12 and 20 inches of snow. That's between 30 and 50 centimeters before this storm is all done. So it's a great time to hunker down with a tasty beverage of your choice close to hand while we take a look at my current top 10 Hoyas. And before we get this underway, I'd like to take this opportunity, I'm happy to take this opportunity to send out a special thanks to Jonas Bayer Hjorth Larsen, to Beata Tofil 5925, to Meershank 9454, who all sent me super thanks this week, and to Utah the Walamute, who bought me coffees. Your support for my channel goes a long way in keeping me in Hoya, Dischidia, other plants, technology, infrastructure, and all that goes into making these videos. So thank you all very much for your support. And we've got a couple things in bloom this week. One of them was a surprise. The first one up is my Hoya species Bengkulu Rindu Rafflesia. And it's blooming again. And they're rather pretty. Yeah, I like the color combination on this. It's very unique. I'm picking up a slight floral scent, not like a killer like lacunosa that's just like overwhelming, or not like David Kamingi. But then again, it's early afternoon here, and so yeah, I should have some pictures of this from when it has bloomed before, and I'll pop them over here. But yeah, this has actually turned into a rather nice looking kind of plant. After severe bout with spider mites, it's doing rather well. So yeah, very happy about that one. Pretty little buds, blooms. And the other one is blooming for the first time. And this is my Hoya nicholsoniae, formerly known as hellwigiana, and it is blooming for the first time. And I'll put close-ups of these over here too. It does have a scent, and it's like something I have smelled before. It's, you know, if I was going to name something as being smelling like cat pee, this might just be it. It's, like I said, it's early afternoon, so I can imagine the scent is going to get stronger. There's something kind of earthy about it. Yeah, not a big fan of that one, but it's blooming, so that I'm happy about that. The leaves are gorgeous on this plant. They will turn a beautiful mahogany color when they get a lot of sun stress. Oh, good. Oh, good. There's three more peduncles of possible flowers that are going to smell less than great. It's almost overly sweet, and there's this, I don't know, I keep saying earthy undertone to the back of it, but yeah, both these guys are in bloom, and yeah, really pleased about it. This one is Hoya species Bengkulu Rindu Rafflesia, and this one is Hoya nicholsoniae, formerly known as hellwigiana. Now I decided to actually rank these. Normally I wouldn't do that, but even within the top 10, some of them are more favorite than others. So yeah, this is all based upon my experience growing them, how easy they are to grow, ease of care, how quickly they bloom, how they look, all those things I took into consideration. And yeah, and that's how I came up with this list. So coming in at number 10 is my Hoya carnosa Crinkle 8. And Crinkle 8 is just a gorgeous little plant. Now this one for me was one of the first Hoyas, and the first carnosa to bloom for me. Let's see if I can get this in a better. Okay. I had heard someone talking about their plant, and they said it grew readily and it bloomed early on, which is sometimes kind of rare for a carnosa. So I ordered one, and it just started growing. It has never given me any trouble. It's turned into this really rather tall beast, and he's sending off side branches here. And when I'm good about the watering, he just blooms. It's stunning for a carnosa. Now, carnosa in general is native to South Central and Southeast China, to Hainan Island, to Japan and the Nansei Shoto, to Laos and Taiwan. It was first published in 1883 in the Flora of British India by Joseph Dalton Hooker. And I don't exactly know where this variety came from, where it originated, but for me, it has just done well. Kimber and I have a very special place in our heart for this particular Hoya, but yeah, it should be easy to find. It shouldn't be expensive. It's very cool. Let's see if I can get this a little closer. The dimples and abs on those leaves are just beautiful. It sort of is reminiscent of a Hoya carnosa Chelsea, but for me, this one grows better and this one blooms much better. So yeah, if you're looking for something kind of cool, that's a carnosa that will bloom for you early on. This one, I should have pictures of the blooms. I should have put them over there before now, but fingers crossed, and I remember to do that. It bloomed early on. It puts up with a lot. It currently lives in my bedroom in my west-facing window. So in the wintertime, it gets a decent amount of sunlight, but it's at a lower angle. And in the summertime, there's plenty of trees out there, so it gets dappled shade. And that seems to work for it. It's growing in pond and self-watering. And as long as I keep up with my end of the bargain, it grows incredibly well. Yeah, this one's not one to keep your eye out for, or if you stumble across it, I hardly recommend it. Number 10 is Hoya carnosa crinkle 8. And coming in at number 9 is my Hoya Deykeae. Now, Hoya Deykeae is native to Sumatra in Indonesia, and it was first collected in 1990 by R. van Donkelaar and D. Yannick. And it was published in 2000 in Fraterna by Ted Green. And it was named in honor of Deykeae van Donkelaar. I usually am not a big fan of heart-shaped leaves, but those are just gorgeous. You can see a little bit of that heart shape in here. They're big. These leaves are measuring, well, let's get some of the chunkier ones. They're measuring about 3 inches or 18 centimeters wide. And from petiole to tip, they're measuring about 4 3/4 or 12 centimeters. Am I right? 4 3/4 is 12 centimeters. Oh, sorry. And a width of 3 inches is about 7.5 or 8 centimeters. This one has done so well for me. It came as little minor start. Pretty sure it came as a rooted plant with just a couple of leaves on the bottom. And those leaves were matte and kind of plain. And once I got it settled in and got it under decent lights, it started producing these big, glossy green leaves. Now it has bloomed for me, and I'll put some pictures of the blossoms over here. It bloomed in a reasonable length of time. I've had this for a while. Let's see, what does my tag say? Where's the tag for this one? What did I do? Probably lying over there someplace. I've had it for a while. I'll put a note in over here of how long it's been here. But it started growing really, really well. It's not given me any difficulties. And again, these leaves are just gorgeous. Big, glossy green. The leaves are rigid. You will not be bending these puppies without breaking them. They have a slight curve, petiole to tip, and a little bit of a side to side, so there's a bit of a domed appearance to them. Yeah, it's just been really good. No issues with this one. And I just love the look of it. It currently lives over here on a grow shelf, and it is approximately 12 inches under a 20-watt grow strip, 12 inches or 30 centimeters under a 20-watt grow strip. It is in pond and self-watering, and because the vines are woody and the leaves are very rigid, it doesn't hold a lot of moisture in the leaves or the vines, but it is not what I would call a thirsty Hoya. So it probably needs to be topped off. The reservoir needs to be topped off every 7 to 10 days. A little bit more right now in the winter because of the heat in my house. It's drying everything out a little bit, and the humidity in this room is, oh goodness, 28 degrees. So yeah, we're gonna get the humidifier running again. It hasn't been that low yet, but it's done really well. It's definitely worth looking for. Just a beautiful, beautiful plant. And I can't say enough about it. This one came from Gabriella Plants on their website. And this is Hoya Deykeae. And coming in at number 8 is my Hoya heuschkeliana intervariegated. Now, heuschkeliana is native to the Philippines. It was first published in 1989 in Hoyan by Robert Dale Kloppenberg. And it comes in 3 varieties. It comes with a pink blossom, a yellow blossom, or a red. And I'm pretty sure that these are the red. And I'll put some close-ups on the side over here. This one has just done, it's turned into such a monster little plant that it's almost continually thirsty, especially now that I've let the humidity get that low in here, but we'll work on that. And once it started blooming, it's been very, very regular about it. It's just a pretty, pretty plant. And as I mentioned to someone in the comments, oh, that's where that went. Okay. As I mentioned to someone in the comments, when my approach is that when I have a leaf that is mostly variegated or has a lot of variegation in it, I try and give it much more light because it's only making food, in this case, in the edges. So it's going to need a bit more light and probably light for a longer period of time. You want to maximize the food production capabilities of each of these leaves. So yeah, that's the approach I try and take with it. This one's a little thirsty. I've got to get better about watering it. Because it's so dry, everybody's just like drying out in here. But so this one lives on the bottom shelf back here, fairly close to the grow light. And you can see a little bit of sun stressing on the top of those leaves, on the leaves on the top, let's put it that way. But it's just done really well. And when it's in its best, it's really, really pretty. I have cut this one back several times and it just keeps on going and blooming. As I said, once it starts blooming, you're good to go. This one's been blooming since spring of last year. There may only be a few blooms, and other times there's like plenty of blooms. When it's nice and warm and humid, this thing just blooms like crazy. But it's done very well for me. I think it's really, really pretty. And yeah, we gave him a drink and we're going to get him back going again. So yeah, This one came from the Planted Veteran on Etsy, and this at number 8 is Hoya heuschkeliana intervariegated. And coming in at number 7, we saw him last week, but I had to include it because it is one of my favorites, is my Hoya lacunosa giant leaf. Now, lacunosa is native to Brunei, to Java, Kalimantan, and Sumatra in Indonesia, to Malaya, Sabah, and Sarawak in Malaysia, to the Philippines, and to Thailand. And it was first published in 1827 in Bijdragen tot de Flora van Nederlands-Indië, or Contributions to the Flora of the Dutch East Indies, by Carl Ludwig von Blume. And the remarks on the herbarium sheet say Malaya, so it was probably discovered by Westerners on the Malay Peninsula. And I picked this one because, for 2 reasons. Lacunosa are really neat. They're one of my favorite species. And they have these wonderful little leaves. But this one's got these gorgeous big leaves that are just, I think, very, very pretty. And in my eye, the blooms on this one, although they're lacunosa blooms, there's no 2 ways about it, they do seem larger. The individual buds seem larger than on other species or other varieties. This is just done, as I said, I've cut this one back several times. It's getting ready to bloom again on that peduncle. It has bloomed a lot, as you can tell from that peduncle. And this one's, where was that? There it is. This one's getting ready to bloom again too, and it has bloomed frequently. It's just a great plant. You know, all the lacunosa I showed in my last video, and there'll be a link to that at the end of this, are really great plants. They're so much fun. They never give me any grief, but I think this one is my favorite. It's just nice to see those lacunosa leaves bigger. So yeah, this one came from Shop Windows Lush Greens on Etsy, and this is Hoya lacunosa giant leaf. Coming in at number 6 is my Hoya endauensis. Now, endauensis is native to peninsular Malaya, and it comes from the banks of the Ulu Endau River in Johor. It was first collected in 1985 and published in 1989 in Malayan Nature Journal by Ruth Q. And one of my viewers from Malaya, was kind enough to explain that in this context, in the context of this plant, ulu means upriver, and river, the Malay word for river is sungai. So this is sometimes known as Sungai Ulu Endau, meaning upriver on the Endau River. This plant and I struggled a little bit at first, but once it got settled, and it did take it a while to recover from the transition from whatever it was into, I have it in pond and self-watering. It's got, you know, for the size of a plant, a fairly small root structure. It's turned into just this beautiful grow beast. It is very, very pretty. The leaves, and I will put close-ups of the leaves, that undulate edge and the sort of wide teardrop shape or heart shape. It's not a heart shape like that. It's a heart shape like, fat teardrop. I love the shape of the leaves. They are fairly firm. There's not much flex to them, even though they're small. They're measuring, let's find a good one here. We're looking at about 7/8 of an inch or 2¼ centimeters wide. And from petiole to tip, a good 1¼ or about 3 centimeters. And once, as I said, once this got settled, it has just grown like crazy and continues to grow. This is a vine in search of something to hang on to, and I have to do a little bit of trellising work. But yeah, it's a great, for me, it's a great plant. No complaints whatsoever. Those leaves are just amazing. It has bloomed for me, and I should have pictures over here on the side if I remembered to do that and I was being good. But yeah, this has been, it's just a great little plant. Now, it started off its life living back here on this shelf, right in this area. But very soon it outgrew that, and I put it on an optimistic trellis, and I moved it over here so it grows on the floor between two sets of grow shelves, and it seems to love it there. The leaves aren't particularly dark, but it nonetheless seems to be able to do quite well in that moderate light. It's not a bright light like this, and it's not dark like back over there. It's somewhere in between, and it seems to really, really thrive in that kind of light. It doesn't seem to be particularly thirsty. It, of course, like any Hoya, is going to want regular access to moisture and humidity around its roots. But I have no complaint with this. The internodal spacing is, well, let's look, since I brought it up, probably running around 2 3/4 or about 7 centimeters. So it's not particularly tightly packed. That could be due to where I'm growing it. But I like where it's growing, and I like what it's decided to do in that neck of the woods. So yeah, this has just been fun. Another one, absolutely love this plant. It's anyone on these lists, if it didn't make it, I would get another one. I'll always have an endauensis in my collection. Really fun. Absolutely worth looking for. This one came from Sproutique on Etsy, and this is Hoya endauensis. And coming in at number 5 has got to be my monster, multiflora. Now, Hoya multiflora is native to Bangladesh, Cambodia, South Central and Southeast China, to Assam in India, to Borneo, Java, Papua, Sulawesi, and Sumatra in Indonesia, to Laos, to Malaya, Sabah, and Sarawak in Malaysia, to the Philippines, to Myanmar, Thailand, and Vietnam. And it was first published in 1823 in, bear with me, Catalogus van Einige der merkwaardigste Zoo in als ultiemse gewassen te vinden in Slaans plantentuin te Wietenzorg, or a catalog of some of the most remarkable zoo internal and exotic plants to be found in the National Botanical Garden at Wietenzorg. And it was published by Carl Ludwig von Blume. And of course, we love this plant for those blossoms. And I have right now 3 peduncles open and blooming. And this kid is a dripper. So be prepared for that. It puts out a lot of nectar. I saw a fellow YouTuber complaining about multiflora. They didn't like it because it put out so much nectar. And I thought, that's your complaint? Yeah, it's just beautiful. It's so much fun. This one has, as I said, has turned into a beast of a plant. You know, this has got to be, let me get the supports back where they need to be. Come on. This has got to be, this big branch out front here is easily 27 inches or 69 centimeters. This other branch is easily 22 centimeters or 22 inches or 56 centimeters. I have been trying to figure out a way to make this get more upright so it doesn't take up so much horizontal space. Let me put him down for just a moment. And I think I have found the answer. I discovered these online and just got them the other day. These are all plastic and sealed. They come with this little ring on top, and they're adjustable. They're adjustable. So it goes, I think, up to 48 inches, and 48 inches is 122 centimeters. So they're adjustable to anything in between. I haven't tried these yet. I just got them in. But I think this is going to let me pull that plant together and make him, right now he's encroaching on too many of his neighbors. So yeah, we need a solution for that. The leaves are rather large. It's a thin-leafed Hoya. They are flexible. They have some, the nectar is sweet, not sugar sweet, more like honey sweet. They are just beautiful plain leaves. There are variegated varieties, but I kind of just like the look of, it's that jungle vibe thing. I have it growing in pond and self-watering. It showed up in soil. And this is one of the first plants I moved into pond. It's very happy with that. Oh my. It needs another drink. I just watered it literally a day or two ago. It needs another drink. It is a thirsty plant. The vines do get a little woody toward the base. But, let's take that tag out of there. The vines do get a little woody toward the base, but for the most part, they are green. And the leaves, as I said, are flexible. So this one does want a ready supply and a ready access to moisture. It's currently living right over here, which is a southeast facing window. So it gets some early morning sun. You can see from the way the leaves are growing. If I turn around, you can see they're kind of like facing the other direction. So it gets some early morning sun and it gets lots of fallout from the other lights in the room. And this one is just no trouble. When I first got it, and before I began to really understand the blooming, I wasn't being really consistent with the watering. And so it would blast buds like crazy. So this one doesn't want to dry out. It doesn't want to be overly moist, but it wants that happy medium, and it wants to maintain that happy medium, not any of this. Try for this as much as you can. And it just keeps blooming. I'm very happy with it. It's very pretty. This is one I will always have in my collection. I can't say enough good things about it. Be prepared that it is going to grow. If you give it what it wants, it's going to turn into a big plant. which is kind of fine. I can live with that for right now. If I try these out and they work, you'll find them in my Amazon storefront. But yeah, this has just been really good. I like this plant. This is Hoya multiflora, and this one came from Wish Plan Treasures on Etsy. And coming in at number 4 is Hoya bella. And this is the outer variegated variety. I have the plain green, I have the inner variegated, and this outer variegated. This is the one I could most easily get out of its home. So Hoya bella is native to Assam in India, to Manipur, and to Myanmar. It was first published in 1848 in Botanical Magazine, or Flower Garden Displayed, by William Jackson Hooker. And the note on the herbarium sheet says Burma, which is now Myanmar. It was originally considered to be a lanceolata subspecies bella, but I believe it has been given its own genus. So Hoya bella. And this is another one of those plants. I will always have, I was going to say, one in my collection. I will always have all 3. And there are other species of bella as well, or the relatives, but it's just, those leaves are just so beautiful in every single variety. And once I learned about Hoya bella and how to grow it, it's no issue. At first I was trying it in a soil-based substrate in terracotta, doing everything wrong in terracotta, doing everything wrong. This is a plant that does not want to dry out at all. So I have all of them in self-watering pots with pond, and I just have to make sure that there's always moisture in that reservoir. If there is, they bloom readily, and I should have pictures over here on the side of what blooms from Hoya bella look like. And they grow quite readily. The plain green one can grow in a lower light level. This one needs just a bit more light because of the variegation. And I find that the inner variegated variety needs noticeably more light. So the other 2 are growing right over here. The green one is turned toward my south-southeast facing window. So again, it gets a little bit of early morning sun. And the inner variegated one is turned toward my 2 Sansi grow lights, who are over here. And they seem to appreciate the difference in light levels from one side to the other. All of them are like this. They are just delightfully monstrous plants. This one lives right over here on that shelf. So it gets some of the light from this grow shelf here, and that seems to work fairly well for it. I just love these plants. They are so beautiful. I'm sure they would like to climb, but these, I absolutely love them trailing. They get fed, like all my other Hoyas do, with the nutrient solution in the reservoir. These branch readily for me, they grow readily for me, they bloom readily for me. As long as I keep up with the watering, they bloom readily. I have had to put major weights on the back of those 2, the other 2, because one of them is the one that took a header. The weight of the plant pulled the pot off the shelf. So, and this one is going to need one as well. Right now, there's enough dead weight in the pot to to keep it balanced, but I don't want another nosedive off the shelf. So yeah, these are so much fun. I know a lot of people have said they can't grow Hoya bella. Here's my suggestion for Hoya bella. Don't do soil. Don't do terracotta. This is a plant that does not want to dry out. It doesn't want moist, gloppy soil, so give it like my typical organic mix of cocoa husk chunks and fine bark, some pumice and some long fiber sphagnum. Put it in a plastic pot or a ceramic pot. Make sure there's drainage in the bottom if you're using that kind of a pot. If you're using self-watering, keep the reservoir full. If you're not using self-watering, then make sure you water it every couple of days. You might want to think about putting some extra long fiber sphagnum in your mix for Hoya bella because, I keep saying it, it doesn't want to dry out. So yeah, light level will depend upon what the leaves look like, but it can go with a medium light, even slightly lower light. A little bit of early morning sun and it'll be happy. Yeah, this is one of my favorite species. It has done so well for me once I stopped doing stupid things with it. Yeah, I'm always going to have some of these around. This is Hoya bella, and this is the outer variegated variety. Coming in at number 3, this might be a bit of a surprise, but it's my Hoya chinghungensis. Now, chinghungensis is native to south central China, to Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam, and it was first published in 1974 by Yingxiang and Pingdao Li as a Dischidia. But it was republished in 1995 in Novan, a journal for botanical nomenclature, by Michael George Gilbert, Pingdao Li, and Warren Douglas Stevens. And this thing has just turned into a wonderful little monster for me. I should have a picture over here of what it looked like when it showed up. And if I remember, it was just one decent sized cutting, but in the intervening couple of years, it's put out all that. It's just been a great little plant. It is a little thirsty, and it has decidedly outgrown this pot. So I'm going to have to up-pot it shortly, which is going to involve cutting off a fairly sizable root mass that's grown outside of the liner pot. But that's the only way to do that. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. It's just a project I'm not looking forward to doing. But great little leaves. They are slightly pubescent on the underside, maybe pubescent, yeah, slightly pubescent on the top as well. And it just has put out this wonderful growth. I mean, that's really, when you compare it to the picture of what it looked like when it arrived, this is doing really well. Yeah, it's very, very pretty. I mean, hanging on the back wall of one of the grow shelves. That's great. It has bloomed, and I have pictures that I should be putting in over here, and really has given me no trouble. My only issue with this plant is keeping ahead of the watering, because it's a very big plant growing in a fairly small pot. So it pulls out that moisture in a matter of days now. So that's one of the reasons I have to up-pot it. But yeah, it's very pretty. When it gets underwatered, and that has happened, the leaves get a little puckery. It looks dry. It looks like it needs a drink. And the first time it happened, I got very concerned, but I gave it a drink and it sparked right back up. sort of like a spathiphyllum, and that, they do that big dramatic wilt, and then you give them a drink, and a day later they look fine. Well, this didn't get that dramatic with the wilt, but it will look parched. So yeah, I give it a drink, and it sparks right back up. This one's growing in pond and self-watering in a pot that hangs on the back grid. And I think, if I have, yes, I have some in a larger size, so that's what I'll be doing when I get the opportunity. In the meantime, I'm just going to try and stay ahead of the watering on this one, but this has just been so cool. It has grown so well. These vines have all started branching. There's been no issues, no problems whatsoever. My only comment is that these leaves catch on everything. Because of that kind of heart-shaped nature, all kinds of stuff gets caught in between those. So when you have to wrestle it out for some reason, you have to be really careful. Take everybody else away from it, because it doesn't want to leave where it is, and it's going to grab onto everything to try and stay. So yeah, this has been really cool. I had no expectations when I ordered this, and so therefore anything it did was going to surpass those expectations, but it has gone beyond what I even thought it could do. This has just been so cool. It's so neat, so pretty. Man, if you're looking for something on the wall or on the top of a shelf, shooting out into the room, this is going to be it. This is very cool. The only thing you'll have to do, I keep when I don't have it on the wall, I have weights that I hang on the back, because it's very front heavy now and tips over every chance it gets. So, and we don't want that to happen now, do we? No, we don't. This one, no trouble, no problems. Hardly recommend it. This one came from Rare Herbs Garden NJ on Etsy, and this is Hoya chinghungensis. Now we're down to number 2. And it was a big discussion with myself, because I talk to myself frequently. We have such great conversations about who was going to be the number 2 plant on this list. And it was quite possibly going to be Hoya spartioides. I've shown my spartioides frequently. It grows for me really, really well. It's another little monster plant. Not even a little monster plant. It's a monster plant. And I'm really, really happy with it. And it's funky and weird. It has no leaves. As a matter of fact, I'll just drop in a quick picture of Hoya spartioides over here. And spartioides has bloomed for me. It's a great grower. No issues whatsoever. But number 2 is my Hoya biruensis. I'm going to do the paper trick again, but now, Hoya biruensis was found in Indonesia, in Kalimantan, on Bukit Biru, biruensis. Ensis ending in plant names means from the place of, so the place of Biru. And that was in West Kalimantan. It was published just last year in 2025 in the Nordic Journal of Botany by Michaela Rhoda and Frida Hayu. And this little thing is getting ready to bloom again. It has bloomed for me once so far, but there are buds on some of the others. Unlike spartioides, this one seems to be a combination of leaves and peduncles. For example, this one right here is a peduncle, and that's a peduncle, but these are leaves. And the leaves are clearly long and narrow, but they have a very tight V shape to them. And I'll put some close-ups of the leaves and the peduncles, the difference between the two over here. I was so thrilled when I saw the first bud. And I don't have anything that blooms with the same kind of bud that biruensis does. So I was absolutely excited, couldn't have been happier. And then it bloomed, and the bloom hung around for easily a week. I kept expecting to find it on the floor, all dried up and done, but it just didn't. It just hung in there. Spardioides, and the reason I keep mentioning the two together, this one used to be known as species affinity spardioides. Spardioides only blooms at night, and it only blooms for one night. And you have to get up and catch it in the absolute dead dark of night, because as soon as any sort of light starts hitting it, the blossoms start closing up. And the delightful added plus is that Spardioides blossoms smell like burned rubber. So yeah, actually there's a good, right there, this one right here is a good example of the leaf and a peduncle side by each. Huh? So yeah, this one takes the cake. This one has grown so well for me. Pretty much this top section here, from there on up, is all new growth in, well, when did this arrive? This arrived in May. So not even a year yet, it's put out that much growth, and it started growing right away. I have it in pon and self-watering. There are a few roots coming out the bottom. It's just doing really, really well. I think I'm going to try and figure out a way to get it a little bit more upright. But it's doing fine. I'm not trying to mess with it at all. It lives on this bottom shelf, which you can't even see. If I do this, yeah, that bottom shelf down there. So the grow light is it's at least 12 inches, 30 centimeters, if not a bit more above this. The leaves at this point are not looking too pale or washed out, so I think we're fine there. This has very quickly become, clearly, one of my favorite Hoyas. It's just so cool. I mean, that's really cool. And when people tell you all the Hoyas look alike, no, they don't. There's lots of fun stuff out there. So yeah, in number two, the second spot, silver medalist is my Hoya biruensis, and this one came from North Austin Plant Co. on Home Street. And after much consideration and internal discussion, in the number one spot has to be Hoya dennisii Frida. Now, Hoya dennisii Frida is native to the Solomon Islands, and specifically the South Solomon Islands. It was first published in 1993 in Austrobaia by Paul Irwin Forrest and David J. Little. And I wanted one of these the first time I saw one. And I'm pretty sure that was on Miro's channel. And oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I will put some close-up stills of the leaves in case they're not focusing and showing up. It's just so beautiful. At first, it was living back on this bottom bright shelf. And as it grew a little bit taller and got closer to the grow lights, it started to look very, very washed out, which was not the way I had seen it looking originally. So I put it on a slightly optimistic trellis and moved it from over there. And it's actually lives now here on one of my carts. and the leaves have darkened up a bit, it grows like a beast. I mean, it just grows like a monster. Whoops. And grabs onto almost anything. It has just done so well for me. It has bloomed, and I'll put close-ups of the blooms over here and wait a couple seconds for those to run through so you can get a look at them. But man, oh man, it's getting ready to bloom again. Yes, there's some buds on the end of that peduncle. Whoops. Ooh, you got stuck in there. Yeah, it took this one a little bit to get settled. It just kind of sat there for a little while, and then all of a sudden it got happy. It's just so pretty. I can't get over how nice the leaves are. That's just beautiful. Once established, it's been no difficulty. It grows like a weed. I've got it, as most of them, in pond and self-watering. It's got a little bit of a root system on it. It's growing in medium light. The leaves are, I just keep looking at every time I look at the leaves on this plant, I'm just amazed. The leaves are approximately 1¼ inch wide, or about 3 centimeters. And from petiole to tip, it is approximately 2½ or 6½ centimeters. 2½ inches, 6½ centimeters. It's a ready, steady grower. The internodal spacing is a little bit long, and that could be because of the lower light levels. But I'm willing to put up with that because the leaves themselves are so much more beautiful when growing in that lower light level. Yeah, I will always have one of these in my collection. I know I keep rhapsodizing about it, but the leaves are flexible. There's a slightly recessed central vein and some slightly raised side veins. So far, the main vine, which is a rather small vine for that size plant, get a hand in there so you can, is a little bit woody, but everything else is very green and flexible. So it's slightly succulent. It'll hold a little bit of moisture in those vines and leaves, but oh baby. Yeah, this is absolutely my favorite right now. It's just so cool. You need one of these. If this is your vibe, you need one of these. Shop around, don't pay top dollar just to get one, but yeah. So happy with this plant. So happy with this plant. This one came from Rare Herbs Garden NJ on Etsy, and this is Hoya dennisii Frida. And now the question for the comments. And first of all, I'd like to thank everyone who took the time to respond to last week's question about whether or not you were on Team Lacunosa or if they were a never again. Most everybody who responded seemed to be on Team Lacunosa. A couple people had never grown one before, and I absolutely recommend trying one. You know, as one rather astute commenter mentioned that, as I interpreted their comment, how many lacunosa do you need? So once you get your first one, just be careful that you don't try and get them all. You don't have to collect the set, but a few of them are fun, especially the ones that look a little different. So the question for the comments then for this week is, what are your top 3 favorite Hoya currently? I'll give you currently, because my list could change by if we do this again in a few months or even do it again next year. But what are your top 3? And my channel, I get to do 10, but for the comments, just give me your top 3, all right? And we'll see what people are loving right now. And as always, I'd like to thank you for choosing to spend a little bit of your time with me this week's end. Please remember to click that thumbs up, like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. And if you're on a mobile device, when you're all done watching things, remember to click on that hype button. All of those things, the like button, the subscribe, the notification bell, and the hype button, convince YouTube that people might want to watch my videos, and so recommend it to other people. A lot of the products that you've seen me use are available through my Amazon storefront. There's a link in the description below, or you can use this QR code to visit the storefront. I receive a commission based on the sales in the storefront, and it doesn't affect your price whatsoever, so it's a great way to help support the channel. If you'd like to, if you're in the market for grow lights, I have a relationship with Sansi, and you can follow the link in the description, or use this QR code and my code on checkout and receive a 30% discount on the prices you find there. I've been really happy with my Sansi grow lights, and I think you will like them as well. If you'd like to support the channel directly, here's another QR code for you, and this takes you to my Buy Me a Coffee page. Or you can use the thanks button down here, and YouTube handles everything for the thanks button. I'm going to post links to a couple more videos over here on the side, and please enjoy the rest of your week's end.